Welcome back, everybody, to Comic Shop Talk on the Late Night Collectors community. I'm your host, Nico, and as always, joined with me today is my co-host, Chris. How you doing, man?
Hey, how's everybody doing?
And it's such a brighter appearance today, Chris. What's going on over there? You can see you.
I'll see. Trying a new setup here. It's a different location. Try and get, like you say, a little brighter.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I figured I'd just throw that out there because we were joking about it prior to the show here today. No lurking in the shadows today for Chris. He's got to, hide his secret identity from us, but now he's revealing himself to the world here on Comic Shop Talk. But yeah, we're not here to talk about Chris's appearance, though. We're here to talk about comics. And specifically the new comics that came out for the week of May the 4th be with you, May 4th, 2022. That's right. We're going to be talking about the comics that came out this week. Not a huge week for either of us. We got Chris, you got about 4, I got about 7. So, should be a quicker episode, but we got some things to go over and discuss at the end as well. So stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, make sure you hit that notification bell to be notified of when these shows drop. They drop every Saturday here on Late Night Collectors Community. You can look back at our playlist, check some of the old episodes out if you've yet to do so. And you could also look at the show notes because sometimes those are helpful because of this spoiler warning. Sometimes we have to get into the nitty gritty of the books. We got to let you know of what happened in these books in order to properly talk about them, conversate with them about them with each other, and give you our thoughts and reviews on them. Right. But we try to steer clear of some of the big spoilers. But, if you want to just be careful, cautious of that, look at the show notes that I always provide. It'll kind of help navigate you through. You can roll back, read your books, and then come back and check out the show, right? They're always going to be up here. Anyways, that all being said, though, Chris, what time is it?
All right. It's time to talk comics.
All right, there we go. All right, first up, we got Batman 123, the only book actually this week me and Chris both actually read. We read a bunch of different things than each other this week. Oh, nice. Let's take a look at that cover, Chris. Let me see that for a second.
Yeah, I think it's a Delato cover.
Oh, yeah. Very nice. Nice variant. Yep.
Not too bad. And the original.
Yeah.
I don't know who that big guy is in the back there on this cover. But anyways.
So Shadow War Part 5 of the Shadow War crossover between Deathstroke, Robin, and Batman. Batman 123. What'd you think of this one, Chris?
Yeah, thought of some good stuff in there with Batman and Damian interrogating that prisoner. Thought it was good stuff with Deathstroke and the family against the ninjas. Not so good stuff was Ghostmaker and Batman Incorporated. I don't really care too much about them, and I don't think they really added much to the story. But what did you think?
I agree with you. I think that the fact that Joshua Williamson was trying to include a lot of characters and events that were happening previous to his time on the Batman book and like trying to include them, integrate them into this storyline that he's telling already amongst 3 other titles.
Yeah.
Probably wasn't the best move. I think he should have just focused with the characters at play here already. I agree. And apparently this story is supposed to be continuing into the Batman annual that's going to be coming out soon. So with Ghostmaker, I'm not as much. I don't mind Ghostmaker, and I don't mind this clown hunter, whatever the hell his name is. Those were guys that were around during the Tynion run. I know not everyone loved them. I think they're fine, but I don't think they are really necessary to this storyline. I get it.
Yeah. There's enough going on here.
Yeah, I think it got a little convoluted this, and I haven't been reading all the issues to your point about this crossover so far.
Yeah.
I haven't. So maybe you got more out of this than I did, but I felt like the first issue of Batman where this crossover was it was his second issue of the crossover. That got me interested in the crossover. This time around, I'm like, okay, there's a lot going on now that I don't really care about in the Batman book. It felt like first one eased me in, and this one was just okay, it's a little bit too much at this point. I don't know.
Yeah, this should have been some tie-in issue or something, those Spider-Man Beyond ones where nothing kind of happened in the main story here,
Yeah, because they're talking about Justice League. They're referencing things about the fake Deathstrokes that showed up in Justice League several issues ago. And I'm just who, again, it's cool for a quick editor's note if you've been reading everything. And I've read those things, but even for me, I don't feel it added anything to this story. I'm just okay. I was like, who cares about that stuff? Like, we're focused.
Yeah, let's keep the story going. Like, there's nothing about Talia al Ghul in this one. I
Yeah,
think they know that this comic's a big seller no matter what, so they don't have to put the big story in this, and they put the big story in like Robin and Deathstroke to try and pump those numbers up, maybe.
I also thought this Howard Porter was the artist on this issue, as well as the last issue of Batman. And the last issue of Batman, I remember saying, like, wow, he looks great on this issue. This one, I don't know if he's
Yeah,
like rushed this one out or something, but it
like I
didn't.
like the stuff in the jail was good, but then after that, it's I don't know, everything was in the dark and like
Yeah,
you just kind of see their eyeballs sticking out of their face. Everybody's got a hood on. Yeah,
yeah,
like
that was okay, but like I don't know, there were certain scenes that looked good, other stuff maybe seemed rushed, or I don't know if he had like a different inker with him on the first. Well, this one he had no inker. I think they just put colors over his pencils. I was looking at the credits, but I didn't see like the first issue looked a lot better. I'll just leave it at that. Like it's the same artist. I just thought the first one looked a lot better than this one, so I don't know if he's trying to keep on schedule or something, but it just didn't do it for me as much as I felt the first time around. I was disappointed because the first issue of this Batman with this Shadow War, I was like, wow, this is great. And then this one, I was like, hey, it was okay. It wasn't bad. It was okay though. It was,
yeah, I don't
yeah,
know. Maybe they're just like trying to save everything for the end or something. But
yeah. What'd you give
I don't
this?
know. I'll give it a 3.5. Like
Okay.
it's an okay story.
Yeah, you're right on the money. Yeah, 3.5. I thought it wasn't bad, but I felt that the first issue was stronger. And then
Yeah,
I think Abyss is coming back next issue they mentioned, and then
yeah. I'm not too keen about that either. Like I said, they should just let the story run its course.
yeah, Abyss
Adding
is.
all these kind of characters they're just trying to shoehorn into this.
Oh, and also what'd you think of the backup story, the Joker Deathstroke one?
As backup stories go, it was a decent story, I
I
guess.
thought it was okay. I like the look of this Joker. Like his lip, like the actual
Yeah,
lipstick is like this much on his face. Like I was like, well, that's different. Like I just think there's so many Jokers that we see, and I don't feel that many artists have drawn him that way. And if they have,
yeah.
it's been a
Like
while.
this one, it looks like that. This is all just makeup on him or something. It's not like
Yeah.
this is the way he looks.
No, I
But yeah, the backup story, I was is more interested in that than I would go into most.
yes. Yeah, for sure. It was good. And this was it. It was only like the last two issues with that backup story. So
Yeah,
that's and then we got one more issue with Abyss, and then the new relaunch with Zdarsky. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So we'll see.
yeah, definitely.
All right, next up we got Flashpoint Beyond #1. Now, Chris, I know you said you may have picked this up, but it wasn't available for you at the shop this week, I guess, when you went, or
No, maybe I'll try and read this online in the next bit, but we'll
I
see how
think
it goes.
good because I wasn't too sure about it after the first issue, although I know we talked about it and it got you interested enough to check it out because of the Flash, him getting fried in the first one in this
Yeah,
Flash universe, which was really interesting. But this one continued to be good too. This is a much preferred kind of DC event for me as opposed to what we just talked about last week with the Dark Crisis prelude.
yeah,
This was much more enjoyable. Like if you guys want to check out a DC event type book that's going on right now in the DC universe, even though most of this is the Flashpoint universe right now, check out this book. It's pretty good, but I will say it does you have to take a lot of stuff into account that came previous to this. Like if you haven't read Flashpoint, like, well, I don't know, Chris, you read it. It didn't seem like you had too bad of a time.
yeah. I don't, I kind of know of Flashpoint, but I don't know any of the details. I don't think it's that hard to follow. They usually try and spell all the important stuff out for you too.
They actually do a good job of doing that right at the start. They actually give you a little synopsis of everything that happened that you kind of really just need to know. All you need to know really is this is an alternate universe where Batman, his father became Batman because Bruce died, and everything's different. Like the Flash, because of Flashpoint, Barry Allen messed up like the time stream, in the last Flashpoint event that basically launched the new 52 of DC years ago now. And as a result of that, this whole timeline's messed up. Like this is a darker, weird, messed up timeline where Bruce Wayne, Bruce Wayne's father, Thomas Wayne, is Batman, but he's a vengeful Batman, and he goes around shooting people with fucking guns. And you see that in this issue. Like this guy just shoots people all the time. And then you also got see, there you go. He's like, yeah, got my 9. Like this guy, and this guy just shoots people for fun and does his thing that way. And also Themyscira, the Wonder Woman's Amazons. and Aquaman's people are at war with one another. So this issue kind of dealt with him trying to seek those two out. It seems like if this is just going to be a story about Thomas Wayne going throughout the Flashpoint universe, I guess trying to fix his timeline. And the other side of the coin is Batman, Bruce, and the main DC universe that we know is trying to also, I think, get back to this timeline and fix it or get to the bottom of what's going on with his father. And he's doing it by using Dr. Manhattan essentially from Watchmen, because that was the whole Doomsday Clock storyline that Jeff Johns also wrote like over a year ago now. And he's got the watch right now that belonged to him or to his wife, or the one she gave him. So I think he's going to use that technology, I think, to somehow get him to maybe fix the timelines again, Dr. Manhattan. So but now that the Flash is dead in the first issue, Bruce is kind of Thomas Wayne. He's kind of running out of options here, and he's kind of losing his cool going around shooting people. So it's a fun story, to be honest with you. It's not bad. I gave it a 4. I thought it was a decent follow-up issue. I'm in now. I think I'm in for the duration of this miniseries. It's 6 issues. I'm more in with this than I was after that Dark Crisis Justice League issue.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna drop that. I might just stick with this Flashpoint Beyond for my DC event. So yeah, not bad. Check it out. All right.
Next year. Oh, Iron Man 19. What's the final enemy? I'm not really sure what happened in this one. Like, this was all like, I think this is the end of the Iron God arc, and went out with a bit of a whimper more than a bang. I'm gonna have to reread 18 to see kind of how they ended up here, because at the beginning of this issue here, you have Tony Stark is kind of just a human, and Korvac is all cosmically powered and back from wherever Iron Man banished them. And then basically they're just kind of going back and forth talking about, where they came from and what they're doing. And I guess Iron Man tells him, oh, you got to become a human again, or you forgot what it's like to become a man. He becomes a man. And then as a man, Korvac punches out, what's his name? Tony Stark. And then Tony Stark is in withdrawal here or something too from like morphine. And then, when instead of killing him, he takes him to a hospital. And then in the end of it, Tony Stark goes to rehab. And that's it.
What is he addicted to now?
I don't know. They were kind of hinting at it was morphine or something. I don't know if this was sort of a mental issue, kind of, not a mental health awareness type of issue, I think. Because at the end of it, you have all for helplines and all this sort of stuff.
Because I've read it in trade, so I haven't read this last arc. I think now as it's wrapping up, it's going to be collected in trade, and I'll read it probably a couple months down the road from now. But I remember in the last one when he got to that planet where he first got to that other kind of planet, he was using morphine to wean off.
Yeah, I think maybe when he lost the cosmic power, or he gained the cosmic power and almost trying to overcome his addictions. I think there's a lot of talk about that. Is once you get something, you just want more and more and more, whether it's power, drugs, and all that sort of stuff. So it was more of a psychological type of issue than an action-packed one.
Well, that's what you said about the last one that was leading into this. It was like philosophical or whatever type of
issue. I guess they're just following that trend here. Okay. And I guess it's over because now he's in rehab. And
I mean, that tracks for that character. He's been addicted to alcohol. He's been addicted to the suit. Like, there's a whole storyline back in the day where he's like addicted to using the suit, right? Like, that's so it's nothing new. He's been an addict so that's interesting. I think that's kind of interesting for
that's the way they're going with this. And I've kind of seen some of the previews for the next issues, and we'll see where it goes.
Kitty still
a cool cover, and I'll stick with it.
Is Kitty Pryde still with him? Are they together still?
Hellcat, Patsy.
Yeah, not Kitty Pryde. Sorry,
Patsy Klein. I don't know what her name is. Patsy Walker or something.
Walker, Hellcat. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, she's the one that drives him there, and he's you're the only one I'd ask, and all this hokey stuff. But I think they got some big issues coming up between them too.
Okay. So what'd you give it?
And I'll give this a 3.5 too. Nothing super, but nothing bad.
Okay. All right. Next up, I got Firepower 20. All right. Let me just highlight this issue. I'm just gonna show you some of the art from this book because this is, again, as I mentioned last issue, the dragon shows up in this story, and I wish this artist would just draw a comic about a fucking dragon this one. Like I honestly, this is amazing. This art is outstanding. So just want to show off some of the art of Chris Somney here. Look at that. Look at that, man. That's so cool. The colors, everything's working on this. Like for me, the art is it's it's really good. I like his art a lot. Yeah. So as you can see, the dragon's still up to no good, terrorizing the city. There's still a kung fu warrior that we've kind of like now has emerged in the city that we found out his name in this one. It's Master something or other. Sorry, I forgot his name. uh, Master Shun. Yeah, he's the new guy that you see here at the start. This guy. Yeah, he's unleashing taking the blade out. Yeah, I just think it's one of the best drawn comics out right now. I really enjoy it. Look at that. The action's great. The family dynamic. It's action packed, fast moving, fun story always. This is a great series. Robert Kirkman. This is probably the best thing I think he's done. Probably during since his time during like probably doing Walking Dead and Invincible at the same time. This is probably he's come out with a couple of series that have come out after that because those were hugely successful for him, but this is probably I think the best thing he's done since then. It's really, really fun. I can't get enough of it. A lot of themes and stuff that I dig in it, and yeah, the art's just outstanding. So I don't got much else to say other than that. But if you guys, and it's not like a huge plot where you're going to be confused. Like you can pick this up, I think, at any time and get something out of it. It's enjoyable, and it's 20 issues in at this point, right? So I gave it a 4.5 this issue.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, man. All right, and next up, one that hasn't been as enjoyable lately. I know I've been pretty down on this book. If it wasn't, as I said, if it wasn't based off if it wasn't, if I didn't like the creators as much as I do, I probably would have dropped it, to be quite honest. But in this issue, Little Monsters 3, I think that we finally have learned a little bit more of the story. A little bit more was revealed, I think, to kind of keep me going. At least through the first arc. We'll see how I feel by the end of that. But basically, again, through a flashback, they show that it's like the apocalypse. It's like the year 2030 some 2029, and it's like I think they said there's during, as you can see, he's rocking a mask. It's during their second pandemic. And I'm just like, oh great. So then this vampire shows up with a bunch of undead children, the children of the night over here, and they show up to this kid's house, and he had, I guess, was out trying to scavenge food for his mother. He comes back home and he finds her dead. Then this vampire skulks out of somewhere with all these kids, and he's like, "Don't worry, you can come with us or whatever. We'll protect you and everything else." And yeah, I guess for whatever reason, this vampire took a bunch of young children under his wing, made them all vampires. But then if you go back, because that was the flashback, if you go to the present day time, they're encountering their first actual human, because I guess there was none around during the, this post-apocalyptic scenario that at least they've come across, where they've actually had the chance now to feed on another human for the first time. So they found this human that got injured, and all the kids are going back, and the one kid's trying to convince them all to go and come and feed on this guy he found, essentially. And he's like, yeah, it's awesome, or what I mean, because you gotta try this out. And they're like, nah. He's like, I don't believe you. There's no people around here. Like, no, seriously, you gotta come. So then a bunch of them end up sucking blood out of this guy who's dead. And yeah, I guess they're just because they're figuring out that they're finally becoming what they are, vampires, I guess. I don't know. It's a children's story with some horror elements, but I'm not crazy about it still. It's okay. This girl, though, was the daughter of the person who got killed, got injured, that they're sucking the blood out of. And this other vampire, I guess, has taken a liking to her, and he's trying to befriend her and make sure that she doesn't see all these people feasting on her dad. That's the other ones to just dive in there, right? So yeah, I don't know. It's okay so far. I thought this was probably the strongest issue out of all three so far, just because I got a little bit more context, and there was a couple of good moments compared to the first two where I just felt like it wasn't enough and I was a little confused. And I'm just like, I don't know what this is supposed to be. It's kind of shaping up a little bit better now, I think. So, yeah. So, Children Who Are Vampires, post-apocalyptic story. I gave it a 3.5 this issue.
Nice.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, got Maestro World War M #3. Let's see. There's some soul searching going on in this issue here from Abomination and Namor as they're drinking from Doctor Doom's wine cellar. They're getting blasted down there,
That's
just
awesome.
sucking back.
That's
But
awesome.
I guess Namor's went through a bit of a bad run there because in the last issue, his wife and his son got murdered by Maestro, so he's a little bit upset about things.
They hash it out over some wine. Just like,
Well, that's it. Well, first it's just him drinking by himself, then Abomination kind of just says, "Oh yeah, hey, I'm in for this too." And then they kind of just talk about all the stuff that they've done in the past and a lot of the motivations of what they've done and some of the consequences, between him, Abomination, talking about how, he became the Abomination and he's, they're all old now, so they're all left with nothing. And Namor, they're all a lot of talk about why they're considered villains. And, he's just saying, look, I'm just trying to protect my country from a world that didn't care about the ocean. And then Doom, he was talking about why he did what he did. He always wanted to just beat Reed Richards, and now that Reed Richards is dead, what does he live for? And now it's just vengeance or whatever to try and take down the Maestro.
that's awesome.
So that was pretty good.
What'd you give it?
And well, let's see. Well, what else?
Or if there's anything else, sorry.
Yeah. So then after their little drunk fest or drinking fest there, Maestro just smashes a broken Abomination because during that time he just realized he just fights the Hulk all the time and loses all the time, and it's gotten him nowhere. So he's having a battle with me. He's not fighting back. Even Maestro's going, "Why aren't you fighting back?" And then Namor awakens a monster from the deep to battle the Maestro. Or Maestro, I'm calling the Maestro like from Seinfeld.
Mr. Maestro.
He's getting the Maestro. And Rick Jones shows up here too, so I don't know how he's still alive. Like, I don't know how far away in the future this takes place, but I guess it's not that far. But anyways, he's there, so it's nice to see him, and like there's part of the plan on how to take down Maestro.
Yeah.
I'll give it a 3.52. It's good stuff. It was like a 3.5 plus, let's say.
Oh, I was about to say, it sounded like you were going to give it higher than that. It's interesting. Okay.
It's more of a talky issue, and just all that. Oh, I'm not a villain. I'm a villain, or I'm just doing what I wanted to do to, do it because it was good for me, or what's that? A villain in someone else's eyes is a hero, and the hero in someone else's eyes could be a villain.
I just love that all these vain characters are talking to one another, and like Doom, Namor, like you're talking about some of the biggest pricks in the Marvel universe are all kind of in this book. Like,
yeah, but now that that's the good thing I like about this comic is the whole world is upside down now that it's been, kind of it's the nuclear wasteland or whatever.
Yeah,
and everybody's just trying to survive.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking for. I don't know how many issues this got. I think that might be 5 or 6. So we got a couple more to go.
Usually is what they do for the Maestro. Yeah.
Well, it's not too bad. I'm liking it though.
Nice. That sounds good, man. I like the sounds of that, especially that Doom Reed stuff, admitting finally that how much he needs him, type of thing. You know what I mean? Reed was probably rolling over in his grave if he would have heard that. Yeah. All right, Deadly Class 52. This is halfway through the final story arc on this book. 56 is the final issue. This was I guess like the last 3 issues I talked about on here, because this is part 4, is what I said. Yeah, part 4. So the last 3 issues of this final arc that have been coming out have been good, but they've been more focused on the action side of things. They jumped to the future, showing that Marcus, the main character that we know from this book, who went to this assassin school when he was younger and went through all this kind of high school drama. It's the same whether you're going to a school for assassins or or just to a normal high school, I guess. It was a great book, and I think it's the best moments of this book have always been like the more personal moments, the more kind of like issues where they actually spent time with the characters and talked about yes, they talked about their problems and their feelings, and you see what's going on in their lives. But amongst all the action, which has been great action in this book, this was a really good issue because now we jumped a little bit even farther into the future, 2006. In the last issue, you saw him finally, be with his, one true love, that kind of the one girl when he was in a love triangle of sorts when he was younger, that we followed them through 50 issues, finally came back together and ended up with one another. But now they're in their 30s, 40s. They're older. They've settled down. They have jobs. So like these, fast, crazy times that they had are kind of long in the past now, though, right? But they've kind of now are being, mature adults, adulting now, right? So, but then all of a sudden, she ends up, the girl that he's with, she ends up finding out that she has some sort of like rheumatoid arthritis or something, and like her arms keep flaring, like her hands and like are scrunching up, and she can't hold, she's dropping things all of a sudden, and she's really struggling and having a hard time, and they're together, and this guy's trying to make ends meet as like, some shitty job that he has, and they're just enjoying each other's company and not really having any regrets or anything else. But then eventually, he actually, he asks her to marry him. They've been together for a long time, but they're not actually married. And they go to Vegas to basically, to get married. And Vegas, the last time they were in Vegas was in like the first story arc of this series. They all got fucked up on all these drugs and stuff like that. So they reference that. They're like, wow, we haven't been to Vegas since that time when we were back in that assassin school and everything else. And then they actually met up with friends of theirs that you recall from their past from going to the school as well, that I guess they've kept in contact. So it's just kind of cool. Everything seems to be coming full circle finally, but is it going to end on a good note for these people? I'm not going to spoil the end of this issue, but there's still very much somebody and things at play that are going around killing people, and there's still definitely an assassin action side of this whole story being told. We haven't seen the last of, somebody kind of walked away in the shadows after shooting somebody at the end of this issue. We don't see who it is yet. I have a couple of suspicions of who that could be. But this is a long form, long series, 50 issues in an indie comic. So it's been a great epic tale that Rick Remender has been writing for this one, and he's one of my favorite writers in comics, and this is probably my favorite thing he's ever written. So I'm gonna be sad when it's gone, but I'm enjoying every last second of this, and I give this a 5. This was the best issue I think I've read in a long time of Deadly Class, like even the last few. So it was fantastic.
Nice. Well, if somebody's happy there, that means somebody's dying.
Exactly, you got it. Speaking of Rick Remender, his other book that he currently has coming out from Image Comics right now is A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance. This was like, again, I've always been referencing this story as like more of a slow burn of sorts. And at the end of the last issue, he's kind of now being this one guy that got involved in this hitman lifestyle. He was wrongfully mistaken or got caught up in a hit of some sort. And all of a sudden he took it upon himself to try to save this woman that was about to get assassinated. And in doing so, she ended up getting killed. He failed to help her out, but he took her kid with him, like took him and protected him. And then he ended up living on like some sort of like off the grid militia with some militia group of some sort. Anyways, the hitmen have now tracked down that he is part of this militia. So he leaves a phone out for the kid, and it buzzes and it shows that the guy that he's been with, that he's been trusting this whole time, is the person that's killed his mother. So he basically baited the kid by leaving like a phone present in the militia like camp. And so he starts running off into the woods. Well, that's where the hitman's hiding, right? So then all of a sudden it becomes a whole thing of the hitman trying to escape with this kid. And by the end of the issue, the kid's tied up to a chair with a couple of people that are also in the same room that have clearly been tortured. And this guy is running to his rescue to try to save this kid from this dude. An undercover cop that's been tracking everybody this whole time ends up getting shot in the process as well, because he also ends up meeting up in this spot with it. So yeah, the heat is on, man. Shit is going down. There's crazy shit happening. Great action, great art, great storytelling. I give it a 4. Another good issue of this series. It's been well worth it, this slow burn leading into the series so far.
Excellent.
Yeah, man.
And here we got Avengers Forever 5, is it? Yeah. And it's a bit of a spotlight on the Doom Above All in here. So it's a bit of an origin story of the Doom Above All, kind of how he became above all, let's say. And it's nice to see Doom take center stage in this issue, but with all the infinite Earths that they conquer, it just makes the hero seem sort of weak. He seems to go back to all these Earths and beat the prehistoric Avengers. So he's taken down Odin, Phoenix, and all people like that. And those are some pretty heavy hitters. You know, he shouldn't be able to sort of walk all over them all the time. But it reveals in here that every time he goes to one of these infinite Earths or one of these alternate Earths, he tries to take back the doom of that Earth. So there's
Okay.
been a couple of really good Doom variants in here. There's like a Doom man thing, so like it's a Doom thing. There's a giant sized Doom. I don't know what that's about. And then he breaks them all down too, because he's the Doom above all, and he has to, you know, because when he gets a Doom there, like that Doom is still a Doom, and
Yeah.
you know they're all like, arrogant and all that, and he has them like pinned to a cross, and then you know he kind of goes through this little speech, but while he takes his mask off, and like he basically tells him, you're gonna ask me to kill you, and once I take this mask off, you avert your eyes, I'll do these things, and then with the Doom thing, let's say he does that, and then he looks away, and then he goes, okay, Doom's cut off his eyelids and you know nail his head to the wall, so he's on the cross, and he's just his head is up there as Doom sort of explains what he's been up to with all the other Dooms,
That's
and
awesome.
and then one scene where all these Dooms come out, you think they're Doom bots, but they're all just the other Dooms that he's broken down. He says, "Look, these guys will tell you how it goes." And then in the end, you see that there's a living like a Doom. Is it Ego the Living Planet?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's a Doom the Living Planet.
That's awesome.
So it's a big head Doom there. So
That's so fun.
and that's crazy. I don't know what's going on. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in this Avengers Forever. Like I've seen some solicitations for the next one. There's like maybe not the next one, but down the road. There's a Thor that's an Iron Fist or something. I don't know. But
That's
anyways,
that's so
this is
fun.
kind of moving along in that story. You know, it didn't have much to do with the continuation of the story, but it's like just the origin issue of the
Yeah.
Doom Above All is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I'll give it a 4. I talked it up. I'd give it a 3.5 because I thought it was as good as all the other ones, but this one seemed to be a little extra better.
Oh, that's awesome. I have to check that out. That sounds right up my alley. Like
Yeah, I
just
should at least read this one online then.
okay, I will.
It would be if it had better art in there, like it's such a great story,
Right.
but the art was sort of
Okay.
I don't want to say it was half-assed, but
Yeah.
this could have deserved a top tier talent or something.
Okay. That sounds fun though, man. That's really cool. All right. So lastly, I got Batman Killing Time #3. I've been really enjoying this. This is also written by Tom King, who I guess had a long run on Batman prior to the current Batman series. Also is about to wrap up his Batman Catwoman maxi series. So he's written a lot of Batman, but I got to say, he's writing this Batman specifically different. He always seems to try to challenge himself. This is not only a really good looking book with Dave Marquez on art, but it's probably the way he writes the dialogue in this book is really, really something. It's hard to describe it. Like just the way he sets all like even when he does like inner monologue stuff or like narration in the book, the way he sets everything in motion for the scenes that you see play out on the page and the way he's playing with time, hence the killing time part of this book. And like he'll tell you something he'll show you a scene play out and then he'll bounce back to 5 minutes before that scene plays out and see what kind of led into that. And it's just really masterfully done. Like Tom King always kind of really does cool things with the craft of comics, the approach that he takes. But I don't think he's ever written as good of dialogue or just like writing in general as this mini series 3 issues in. I don't know. He's a great writer. I've liked a lot of stuff he's done. It's just the way it's hard, it's hard to describe. It's just the way the dialogue in the book is fantastic. Anyways, there's this guy that Penguin sends after Batman, or I guess Riddler and Catwoman and everybody else because they're trying to screw him out of this bank heist this bank heist they've pulled off, right? I talked about what happened in the first issue. So Penguin they tried to screw him out of the deal. And so then he sends this guy called the Help. And he's kind of like an old like butler of sorts. And his name's just I'm the Help. And like everyone like knows him. Like he's some notorious like guy you just never want to encounter. Anyways, Batman then kind of crashes the party that he kind of comes to, trying to kill Riddler and Catwoman to get, revenge for the Penguin, because that's who's hired the Help. But then Batman ends up coming there, getting in the middle of this and having to fight this guy. And Batman loses to this guy. When the hell does Batman lose? Batman gets his ass whooped by this guy. And as he's fighting him, I'll take it to the scene. As he's fighting him here, he's busting out all these like different like fighting moves. And then the Help like describes where exactly he knows he learned that fighting move. And then as he's like kind of fighting him and the dialogue's going on, as you can see, there's a lot of word balloons here. He's describing, oh yeah, so this kick, yeah, you must learn that from Roz. Yeah, I remember when I trained with or I taught him this or whatever, so like he's clearly just as good, if not better, than Batman. Like he's just like, and it's just like, I just like his name, the Help. Like he's like, hello, I'm the Help. Like he shows up, he's like the wolf from Pulp Fiction or something. I love it, man. Like it's just, I'm like, that is awesome. I was like, who is this character? Like I guess he just made him up for this miniseries. Like I've never heard of him. Anyways, yeah. He ends up losing, Chris. He ends up getting his ass whooped to him because at the end,
sounds like a character that might have to move to the mainstream.
Look at this. But there's a scene coming up here. I'll see if I can try to find it. And because they cut away, yeah, right there. They cut away because at first you just see him kind of like walking off, like yeah, that was a fun fight or whatever, and you just see Batman just like sprawl. And anyways, by the end of this issue, the Help has now found out what the Penguin was trying to get back from them that they've stolen as a part of this heist, and now he wants it. So like things are not good.
It's got to be something really good then if the Help wants it.
Exactly, because at first he was just doing this as a paid gig for the Penguin. But then as soon as he found out by the end of this issue what it was exactly that they had stolen, he's like, oh, now I want in on this. So anyways, best new character in comics in a while. I got to say, really, really cool introduction of this guy at the Help. Really, really fun. And I give this issue a 5 because of that, because of the dialogue. Yeah, really cool. So
nice.
Batman Killing Time. All right. So before we get into our favorite books of the week, what we're looking forward to picking up next week, though, running pretty good on time, smaller week. Let's talk about the DC previews, because we talked about Marvel last time. Let's talk about some of the books that are going to be coming up in the coming months, guys. This is for July. And for anybody that doesn't know, you can pre-order your books from your local comic shop. And this week is actually Free Comic Book Day on May 7th, I believe, the Saturday. So by the time you watch this that day, hopefully you've gone out and helped support your local comic book shop, guys. Free Comic Book Day, you can go and usually get a few free comic books. There's always some really good, interesting offerings. And, if you go and you got a few bucks to spend, look around your comic book shop and help support the comic book shops. They usually pay for these comics. Even though it's called Free Comic Book Day, they actually do pay a small free fee for these comics to help promote comics, the hobby, as well as help, get you into the store and get you checking out, the stuff that they got there. So
buy some of those back issues.
Exactly. So yeah, so help, support the comic book business. If you're into the hobby, definitely go support your LCS this Free Comic Book Day. It's always the first weekend, it seems like, of every year in May. So yeah, let's talk about some new DC previews, though, that are going to be coming out in July. Me and Chris are just going to go over some of the titles here. Since it is digital, the iPad doesn't really show up that great on the screen. I'm probably going to share my screen the next time we do that. I think that'll be the ideal setup. But for today's purposes, we're just going to scroll through our list here, me and Chris, and let you know what we'll be picking up here. So yeah, Batman 125, the first issue of Chip Zdarsky and George Jimenez. Chris, I know you're on board for that.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Also the new detective team. I'm going to be checking that out as well. Yeah. Ram V and Raphael Albuquerque, great team. With a backup story by Simon Spurrier, who also is a really good writer. So I'm looking forward to that. That's
I'm not looking too much forward to that story, but I'll give it a go.
seems like it's going to be more horror based than anything, right?
Yeah.
Like, we'll see how that goes, right? But it's interesting. As I just mentioned this episode, Flashpoint Beyond, that's still going to be going at that time. Number 3 comes out, going to be picking that up. Dark Crisis, Chris, are you going to continue with that? Yes or no?
I don't know. I don't think so, but
I
yeah,
mean,
probably not.
this
Maybe
team,
I'll read it online, see how it goes, and I can pick it up afterwards. Doesn't
right?
look like these are any issues that are going to be freaking burning up the
No.
stands. I think they're going to be sitting around for a while.
Dark Crisis, Worlds Without a Justice League Superman number 1, though. That's by Tom King, Chris Burnham. He's a good artist. I might check that out online at least, because that's a really good team for a one shot. That might be interesting. I don't know if I was going to be really into any of these Dark Crisis tie-ins, but that one sounds interesting to me. And then they got Young Justice coming back, it looks like, for this.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's pass on that.
Not passing that. The Flash, no. How about
Yeah,
this one? Black Adam, the Justice Society Files, Hawkman, you into that?
yeah, not really.
Artemis, that looks like a
No.
of the Amazon stuff. How about this, Chris? I know you're into the Marvel mech books. DC Mech number 1. I didn't even know this was a thing.
Yeah, I think I'll pass on that too. But the Marvel mech, they just had freaking super awesome covers.
Yeah.
These ones here, like these covers, kind of look kind of random.
Young,
Nothing awe-inspiring. Like even that Superman and Batman there in their silver and white suits,
yeah.
that doesn't look too good.
Young Justice Targets number 1. No.
Pass.
This I'm picking up. Superman Space Age number 1.
Oh yeah.
This looks great. Yeah. Mark Russell. I'm a big fan of the writer, and Mike Allred on art, who I'm also a big fan of. I just think it's a great team. It's only a 3-issue mini series. They're going to be oversized issues. Prestige.
Nope,
So
I'm out.
they're going to be oversized. Yeah, they're going to be oversized, Chris. So yeah, so I know you don't like the oversized format. But I'm in. I'm in for sure. Superman Space Age number 1. So look forward to that.
I look forward to hearing about it.
This is a must for sure. Batman White Knight presents.
Yeah, I think so. That Sean Murphy guy, he's growing on me.
This is not going to be drawn by him, but he's co-writing it, and it's in
the well, his writing seems to be pretty decent.
Yeah, and it's going to be a 2-issue series, so that's not bad. That's not bad.
Yeah.
That out. Batman, Superman, World's Finest.
Down for that.
Yeah, that's been good. Wow, there's quite a few here. They got some good amount of books coming out that month. It looks like DC versus Vampires, All Out War number 1. So now they're doing one shots. It looks like inside.
Oh, it's 1 of 6.
Oh, never mind. Holy shit! So they're starting.
I didn't know that.
I guess they're starting a whole new mini series that's spins.
Well, I guess now that the vampire's taken over,
right?
Are they taking a break or something from that, or
possibly? Maybe that's what this 6.
And maybe there's a bit of a filler in there, just kind of see the world as the vampires take over. Okay, I'm down for that.
Yep, I'm down too. I'm in for that. Multiversity Teen Justice. No.
Action Comics. I'll be down for that still.
Mm-hmm. Aquaman and the Flash Void Song. It's I guess a miniseries of those two.
Yeah, pass.
I am going to be picking up this Aquaman Andromeda. Again, it's Ram V and it is a horror take on Aquaman, but I never really read Aquaman books. Again, this is going to be an oversized prestige format, 2 out of 3. Sorry, this is a 3-issue mini of Black Label. I think the first issue actually comes out in a couple of weeks, so I'll be talking about that one on the show. I'm going to try it out. We'll see what happens. But if I don't like that first issue, I'm just not going to bother with this one.
Yeah.
What else we got here? Aquaman, Batgirls, any of these?
No.
Batman Beyond. I think you dropped that, Neil, here.
Yeah, I haven't picked any of that up.
Batman Fortress. I'm not going to be picking this up, but I do like the artist, Derek Robertson, on this series. But I don't know enough about the writer, and I read enough Batman, so I'm not going to bother with that one.
It sounds like a good story. There's some aliens coming in or something, and
yeah,
and Batman's up there to fight him. But I'm not reading it though.
Yeah, but I might check it out like in trade or something or online or something because it does sound decent. It just Batman Killing Time number 5. That's the second last issue. Gonna continue with that. Batman the Knight. You dropped off of that as well, right, Chris? Batman the Knight.
I don't think I started that.
I know you.
You were dropping out.
I was, and then I jumped back.
When Chip Zdarsky started doing.
Yeah, I know.
Was announced.
I read you. You read the first issue. I lent it to you, though. I think that's why I thought you were reading it for a moment.
Maybe I don't remember.
Batman Urban Legends. This is kind of the anthology Batman book. I'm not going to bother with that one. Black Adam, I don't care about. Blood Syndicate season 1.
Nope.
Catwoman. You're going to continue with that, right?
Yeah, definitely getting that variant cover there with the Meow and Neon.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately that other one there, the bottom one, that's like a 1 in 50 or something like that. So
Here, this is the variant right here. This one, right?
well, that's the 1 in 50.
Okay, hold on.
I
Oh,
think the
that's
one with the Neon Meow there.
yeah, that looks good too. Very nice. Is that
Hopefully I'm getting that.
that looks like I think that's that Frizen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jenny Frizen. Jenny, sorry. Yeah, all right. So
Yeah.
DC versus Vampires 7. Yeah, so it is going to be continuing
Oh,
same time.
okay, nice.
So it's just going to have 2 books concurrently, it looks like, for the second half of the series, it looks like. So it's
Yeah, I like that zombie cover there with Batman and Wonder Woman zombie fight there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's take a look at that. There we go.
I think I might have put that in the on my
Yeah,
pull list there.
yeah. What else? Let's see here. Duo, no. Fables, no. Future State Gotham, no. Harley Quinn, I'm going to continue to read. I Am Batman, no. You dropped Justice League versus Legion.
Yeah, I dropped that one. So that darkness coming, fuck enough of it.
And then right now we're just getting the Looney Tunes, Mad, Monkey Prince, Naomi season 2, Nightwing. Gonna continue.
Yep, getting that.
Oh, that's a nice cover too, actually. This one here.
Yeah, I think I got that I tried to order that variant cover, I think. We'll see. I'll be starting that new comic book shop by that time, so
Okay.
if these pulls come through or not.
Yeah. Poison Ivy.
Yeah, I think I'm getting that.
You're gonna get the Poison Ivy series? It's a good
Yeah.
team. Yeah, it's a good team on it. Nice covers too. Robin. I actually just read the first volume of the paperback that came out of Robin. I really like it. I like the whole tournament idea.
Oh yeah, it's not too bad, and it seems to kind of have consequences, you know.
Yeah, no, I dig it.
That's playing into the Shadow War.
I liked it. Yeah, I read I think it was like the first 6 issues or something.
Oh, not Batman there. It's funny, always Damian Wayne always calling Batman dad or father.
Mm-hmm.
Like when when they're doing whatever they do, father, blah blah blah.
Yeah, and like all the everyone else calls him the detective and shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Superman, Son of Kal-El, no. Task Force. Although that's interesting. Looks like there's a co-writer on this issue of Superman, Son of Kal-El. I wonder if Tom Taylor's moving on. I don't know. Sometimes they bring in another.
Kind of just feed him in there a little bit.
Sometimes they bring on another writer to groom them and then leave the title, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. Task Force Z. I only read the first issue. That I kind of wanted to like that a lot better than I did, but I don't know if that's good or not. I might check that out in trade. Jurassic League, which comes out next week, the first issue. I
think I got that coming.
Sandman Universe, no. Swamp Thing, no. That's by Ram V. I tried it out. I tried out the first trade. I didn't love it. Wonder Woman. Are you dropping Wonder Woman after this?
I'm just picking up covers here and there. And none of these covers. I think the next week I got a variant cover coming in. Okay. But unless there's a new story that comes through that's decent.
Yeah.
I'm still out.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's it for the DC then. And then I quickly just want to show a couple of things for Image here and Dark Horse. Kind of the more indie kind of publishers that I do read stuff from. But I'm not going to flip through every page here. I'm just going to try to get to a couple things I want to show off. This book sounds crazy, but I'm going to wait for the hardcover of this. But this book sounds awesome. Like it's like some sort of like crazy time travel, like Merlin, Sword in the Stone, Excalibur type shit. Like this actually sounds really, really good. There's a really great artist on it who's like very weird looking art. I'm excited for that, but I just feel if I read it in issues, I'm gonna like it's gonna be crazy, and I'm not gonna understand what the hell's going on. So I'm just gonna wait for the trade of that. But I wanted to mention that this looks good. I don't know if I'm gonna actually be picking it up, but it does look good. Again, I like the artist on this. I think it's like a good old coming of age story in Greece, which is right up my alley. What else here? Nope. No. So Magic Order 3, number 2 just wrapped up. I talked about it on the show, so I might be reading that digitally now. I might be switching to getting those in trade. Same with Prodigy. That's another Mark Miller book. the Icarus Society, which I might read digitally, but these are always good. I am a fan of the Mark Miller series that come out. This is going to be fun. Skybound X 25. Now, they actually haven't had 24 issues of Skybound X as far as I know. I think they're just throwing it out there as like some sort of like 90s gimmick type shit that they're doing because they like to do that kind of stuff. But this actually it has about 4 short stories in this mini series that they're going to be debuting that are going to eventually then turn into ongoing series. And the reason I want to pick this up is because this is Battle Beast, the character from Robert Kirkman's Invincible, teaming him back up with Ryan Otley, who's been doing the artwork on that other Hulk with Donny Cates, right? So I don't know if this means he's going to stay on the book when it actually gets launched, but they're debuting a short story of this character who I love from Invincible. I'm a huge Invincible fan, Robert Kirkman. Again, and I guess he's delving back into the Invincible universe with this issue. So that's going to be really cool. It's teaming him back up with Otley, who did Invincible. Really excited for that. So I wanted to mention that. The trades are coming out of Gunslinger Spawn, guys. If you guys have been waiting for that's interesting. Noctura, that's a trade. Now we're just getting into trades, but I'm going to be picking that up as well. And yeah, I think it's kind of more of just the same here now. Those are the new debuting issues from Image in the solicit. So I'm not going to go over the stuff I'm reading currently. You can listen to the show for that. But I do want to quickly mention something in Dark Horse. All right, here we go.
Yeah, did you read any of the Berserker?
I read the first trade of Berserker, which is based off of the what's his name, Neo. What the actor?
Yeah, Keanu Reeves.
And Keanu Reeves. Yeah, he co-writes it. There's good artists and a good co-writer on there with him. So I read the first volume. I liked it. I'm gonna wait for them to come out with like a nice oversized deluxe hardcover though, because I really love the art on it.
Yeah.
He's basically an eternal warrior. He's essentially
Okay, so he just kind of goes through the different times or different eras.
It's a very simple premise that they're doing just to make a movie about it. You know what I mean? Like he's basically John Wick, but just eternal in this essentially. Yeah. He's Vandal Savage essentially, like it seems like, and he's like a warrior and like so it's good though. It's a fun action series with good art. So I mean it's not the best thing in the world, but I thought it was decent. So this is the one issue I wanted to highlight. Mind Management, also written by Matt Kent, the guy who's co-writing Berserker with Keanu Reeves. I really love this book. This came out like, I don't know, probably several years ago now. And I guess this is him coming back to the series. He's doing a little mini series called Mind Management Bootleg. It's a 4-issue mini series. And the reason why he's calling it that is because every issue is going to be drawn by a different artist, even though Matt Kent drew and wrote the original series. So I think that's just an interesting concept. I might just read this digitally. I don't think I'm going to pick it up because I own the hardcovers of that series, but it sounds interesting. And Shaolin Cowboy, as I talked about, I think on the last previews. Yeah, I think that's about it. Otherwise, this is just trades and hardcovers and stuff like that. So, okay, so there you have it, guys. Those are some of the things we're going to be looking forward to picking up in the next couple of months in July. Very quickly, though, I did want to mention as well something for this week in the news. Rest in peace to Neil Adams. Neil Adams, a very famous creator since, back in the day, has been in the industry forever. I think his claim to fame was mostly helping with creator rights throughout the years. Like he actually was somebody who fought for people to have, not be the Jack Kirby's of the comic industry and get ripped off and have no claim over any of the characters that they created for these companies. Like this was the guy.
Yeah, they're able to get their art back from the companies after they did that. So that's a big deal.
It is. And he also was one of the first people to push for like putting black characters in a lot of their comics and actually like actually break barriers in the sense of like trying to he famously drew some of the stuff that they did with like Green Arrow with Speedy with that heroin issue and all that stuff with Denny O'Neil back in the day. That was also a lot of Denny O'Neil, but him and Dick Giordano who inked his stuff like that, they were part of that whole thing, like actually doing a lot of social issue type stuff in old comics where they're all hokey and they were all kind of like dealing with stupid things a lot of the time. But then this guy actually tried to, and he was the guy who created the Black Green Lantern. What the hell's his name now? I'm fucking blanking.
Hal Jordan? No, not Hal Jordan. John Stewart.
Thank you. Yeah, he created that character, as far as I know. That's what I meant. Like, he actually was somebody who actually wanted to create, like, put more black characters in his stories, and like he did Superman versus Muhammad Ali comic, which I have, which is awesome. If you guys can find that, it's an old Treasury edition size issue. They've reprinted it, but you need to find the original Treasury size issue that's like an actual issue that's just oversized. And I own a copy. It's great. Like, I've never was a huge fan of his art, and and even him as a person over the years, more frequent, like more recently, you've heard things about him, very opinionated of sorts, but you can't discount all he's contributed to the medium. So yeah, rest in peace to him in that sense. I don't know about you, Chris. Were you ever a fan of Neil Adams, or do you know of his stuff? Or
No, not too big. I have to look over some of my old issues, see what he's done. But
yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right. What are we picking up next week, Chris?
That's another small week again for me. I got Hulk versus Thor, X-Men 11, Jurassic League, and Wonder Woman variant cover. That's it.
3 comics or 4?
4. I don't know. Like, is Marvel on delay or something? Because
there definitely has been some.
I've heard they've been pushing back a lot of stuff.
Yeah, there has been a lot of delays because of the ongoing, I guess, paper shortage issues that we've been experiencing at times. So, yeah, I think it definitely has created some lulls in our pull lists, because I feel that I'm still ordering a lot of stuff, but it's
like I put in my orders for June and July, and that's freaking like 2 pages. Yeah. And then I'm getting like 4 comics a week or something.
Yeah, I've cut back though, and a lot of things have ended, and a lot of things are going to be starting in the next few months though. Yeah. So like, I think it's a little bit of everything, I think, that's happening right now. But you're right, even for me, another 7-issue week for me next week. I got Crossover 13, 8 Billion Genies #1, which is a new Image comic series that I really am looking forward to. Farmhead 17. Wait, did you mention this? Hulk versus Thor, Banner of Oh, you mentioned that. Yeah, Banner of War Alpha. Looking forward to that.
For sure.
Jurassic League 1, King Conan 4, which that's been super delayed because there's been a little bit of controversy surrounding that book. Maybe we'll get into that next issue. Jason Aaron made an error in that last issue, which I'm just realizing now that we talked about it, ogled over the woman. that there's been some issues with. So we'll get into that next episode.
Yeah, man, that old issue there and see what the hubbub's about.
Yeah. And X-Men 11. Yeah, that's my list for next week. I might read this digitally, although based on your list of 4, I might not, because then I'll have like double the amount of you have it. This Moon Knight Black, White, and Blood comes out next week. That's a anthology event. So I might check it out. Probably not though, but something, if you guys are into Moon Knight right now with the show being out, might be worth checking out. Anthologies just aren't usually my thing, right? So.
I hear a lot of good things about the Moon Knight series, though, but I haven't really read any of it.
Last episode came out today, actually. I haven't watched it yet, but it's been great. It's been great. So, all right, Chris, favorite book of the week? I figured, Avengers Forever.
It was this, or basically, well, I only have 4 to choose from, so I think that one.
You know what? It's hard. It's between 2 books for me. It's between Deadly Class and Batman Killing Time. After talking about Batman Killing Time and how amazed I was that he actually got beat in this comic, I almost want to give it to this, but this one kind of was a little bit more personal to me. I think like this one hit me more in the feels, as they say. It was just a more, I think, built up and appreciated issue if you've stayed with this series as long as you did. So for that matter, I got to give it over, I guess, another generic Batman issue. But I will say, it was a very good Batman issue, Batman Killing Time. So check it out, guys. But Deadly Class 2 is my favorite book of the week this week for sure. Nice. All right. So that's going to do it for this week, guys. We'll see you guys next week. We might be doing it live. We'll see. It is our 25th anniversary episode.
Oh,
it's the oversized 25th anniversary episode. So that's going to be a big one. So we might plan on doing it live. We'll talk off the air, and but stay tuned about to check out that episode. We'll have to plan something special. Maybe we'll re-talk about our favorite ongoing series again or something, because it's a smaller week once again, but it'll be a good time to chat as always, guys. So thanks for tuning in. Hit that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll see you next week for the 25th episode.
Woohoo, 25.
Yeah.
Bring it.
Later.